Welcome to the Nonprofit Connection. I'm your host, Susan Gunther. The Nonprofit Connection helps organizations get the word out about what their programs are and how they benefit the citizens of the Concord area as well as New Hampshire and beyond. My guest today, I am pleased to say, is Perry Spearman, who is the president of the Emerging Leaders in Communities of Color. Welcome, Perry.
Thank you, Susan.
I'm glad you could join us, and I must say that we're in the lobby of Centrix Bank, the Capitol Commons building, and that we're all part of Market Days. So thanks for coming down and braving the heat.
Yeah, it's my first time visiting Concord during Market Days.
Hey, at least we found a cool spot
Yeah.
for a half an hour or so.
It's really hot outside. Yeah, it really is. This is great.
It is great. Well, welcome.
Thank you.
Let's start by telling our audience a little bit about what is your organization, Emerging Leaders in Communities of Color. What does that all mean?
What does it mean? It means it's a 9-month program, a leadership program,
Okay.
devoted to making an impact for folks that their peers have identified as emerging leaders
Okay.
In their community.
Yep.
And they nominate these folks into our program.
Okay.
So starting in October, they go through a 9-month program once a month,
Yep.
building skills that are really key to being an effective leader. So
Okay.
public speaking skills, how to network, getting a tour of the state capitol building,
Yeah.
learning what social capital is, the importance of relationships,
Yeah.
not just with people, but across organizations.
Yeah.
So, can I keep going?
Please do.
Okay, so the program came out of around 2003 or so. Some leaders in the community of New Hampshire got together and identified that there was a lack of folks to represent people of color here in the state.
Mm-hmm.
And being a person of color,
Mm-hmm.
I can kind of identify, I never saw myself as a leader until going through this program back in 2006.
I was going to say, I've always seen you as a leader.
Well, and that's the key
Yeah.
of the channel that comes in. That sort of peers that look at people
Yeah.
and see something in somebody that says, wow, that guy or that girl really has something there.
Yeah.
That's how we get folks to participate.
Yeah.
So I didn't see it, but
Other
Sharon
people
Roulette
did.
at Revere College back in 2006 saw it in
Yeah,
me, 2005, and nominated me to the program.
Okay.
And I'm glad I went through it.
Yeah. Now, you mentioned leadership development opportunities, and that's something that we've had conversations before where we've talked a little bit about the people that are participate in this program are not necessarily leaders right now.
Correct.
But they are developing those skills, those relationships, because I believe that there are a lot of relationships that have come out of being a class member in ELCC.
Absolutely. In the past, one of the things that comes up is how does our program compare
Yeah.
to a Leadership New Hampshire,
Yep.
to a chamber leadership program, Seacoast, Nashua, Manchester.
Okay.
I can make a distinction because I went through LNH
Okay.
in 2008.
Okay.
And the population in that class were already existing leaders in the community.
Okay.
They were superintendents of schools.
Okay, yeah, yeah.
They were, I don't know, they were leaders in their community, executive directors of programs, nonprofits.
Yeah.
They're already managing. They already have leadership skills.
Okay.
Now, when you enter into LNH, it's about topics.
Okay.
Issues that go on here in the state. And we bring
Okay.
all that brain power together once a month to address those, to talk about
Okay.
it, to come up with solutions.
Okay.
Emerging Leaders is working with a different population of folks
Yeah.
that, again, don't even know that they have any leadership,
Yeah.
in some cases, qualities, or that they're really powerful. They just haven't discovered that yet.
Yeah.
So we're looking at building skills month to month,
Yeah.
telling them about strategic planning,
Yeah.
networking, and all these sort of topics that are necessary to become effective
Yeah.
as a leader.
Well, one of the things that has been a real joy in my life is that I've been able to stop by every once in a while and see people as they're learning and growing personally.
Yes.
And I've also been involved with one of the segments that we'll talk about called Speechcraft that help people develop their communication skills as part of the ELCC curriculum.
Yes.
And it's so much fun to watch people get comfortable in front.
So June, we had our graduation for the class of 2013.
Yeah.
Now, being somebody that's been involved in leadership in the program since 2007,
Yeah.
and having gone through that public speaking component with Toastmasters, of which you're a Toastmaster here in Concord.
Right.
We love our relationship with the
Yeah.
Toastmasters group. It's key to leadership development. Is that our class, the class I just graduated, some of the folks were really introverted or talked really softly and didn't know that they were talking softly.
Yeah.
And at the graduation, they all presented as a class their class project.
Yeah.
So each one came up and talked about their piece.
Uh-huh.
It's probably the first class project where we made that we empowered that to happen.
Okay.
Through planning last season
Yeah.
to make sure that we put into place empowerment so they could get to that place.
Yeah.
It was amazing. The shyest person, I'm thinking of his name, I see his face, I won't mention it on camera. The shyest person had a 180-degree turn.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was just ad-libbing.
Oh, that's
yeah,
great.
It was just great, and he didn't need notes. He put them
Yeah,
aside,
yeah.
and he was a live wire up there at the podium in front of 20 or 30 people.
Yeah.
And that person is not the same person that entered the program back in October of last year.
Right, right.
And seeing that across the board
Yeah.
with those, I think that's six graduates.
Mm-hmm.
I was celebrating. Somebody else, we had three other people from our board there.
Yeah.
And we were just blown away.
Yeah.
By the quality of their presentation and the skills that they actually picked up along the way.
And the interesting thing too, we talked a little bit about the communities of color, and there are many different communities within our larger community. People that have come from Bhutan, people who have come from parts of Africa, all over the world,
Cuba,
and migrated,
Colombia,
and Cuba.
Dominican Republic.
Yes, and I'm sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, we've had many nationalities come through the program.
Yeah.
I just want to plug this. 'Cause
Okay.
We talked a little bit about before the camera came
Yeah.
on. Who can participate in the program?
Good,
Yeah.
good segue, Perry.
Yeah. So because of the name of the organization, people think, oh, it's only people of color. And,
Yep.
and they think of that, they think Latino or African American.
Mm-hmm.
But actually, it's a very diverse pool of people.
Yeah.
And it can be actually non-people of color.
Mm-hmm.
Ideally, the emphasis is when people graduate, that they go out into the community and they make some sort of impact through their leadership.
Yes.
So you could be a person of non-color that works with a nonprofit that his mission is to somehow support
Yes.
Communities of color.
Yeah.
And if you feel as though you don't have the public speaking skills, or you're not even aware of it, you just
Yeah.
feel uncomfortable when
Yeah.
asked to talk in front of your group meeting, those sorts of things, or how to network, going out into a public space with people you don't know, and what's the dynamic happening in the
Right.
room? And
Right.
What are you there for? Those folks can apply or be nominated to the program
Right.
and participate.
And I think that's a really good point, that the primary goal, if you will, of the organization is to have a positive impact on the communities. So we're really talking about having people or helping people develop those skills so that they can then take it, and they're sort of paying it forward, if you will, to use an overused phrase, but that's kind of what they're doing, is helping to improve everybody's lives by working in those communities as well.
Absolutely. During the course of this year cycle from October through June, it became obvious to me, because I'm at every session,
Right.
that not only do we need to give skills, but at the same time, and we talk about networking,
Yep.
we need to make sure that we're bringing in people from the outside
Yeah.
to not just, one, expose them to what emerging leaders in
Right.
Communities of Color is
Right.
as a program,
Right.
But also for our class to connect with those folks.
Right. Because the people that come in many cases, are people that they need to connect with in the future in order to keep growing and
Absolutely.
keep their mission going.
Yeah, every nonprofit, even companies, need to. That's why I got into Emerging Leaders.
Yeah.
I was a small business owner, started up, quit my corporate job,
Yep.
and realized I don't know enough people.
Yeah.
I'm not getting customers fast enough.
Yeah.
And so I said, I gotta connect with the people I do know or loosely know,
Right.
and make sure they know what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
And that was what got me to call this lady named Sharon Roulette at Revere College.
Yep.
And then by doing so, she nominated me to the program.
Yeah.
And then my world began to expand from there.
Yeah.
So it's really important that people get that,
Yeah.
that people understand that.
Yeah. Now, we've talked about nominating people to the program.
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about that nomination process. And one of the things that I did in preparation for our meeting today is I looked on the website to see what the nomination process was and how complicated it is to get involved, or to either nominate yourself or nominate someone that you think is a good candidate for ELCC.
Yes.
And let me just, if I may, grab this from you. You're not going to be able to see details, folks, but here's the application. It is a single page.
Yeah.
So it's not something where you have to write a book for your friend, on behalf of your friend, or on behalf of yourself, so that you can nominate to be a participant in ELCC. It's a pretty simple process. Yes, we do ask for a little bit of additional information, but again, it's really, I think every effort has been made to simplify the process.
Yeah, we're migrating our website, redesigning it, and we have done that. We just haven't launched it. So we have 2 existing websites right now.
Okay.
But both, as of this morning, make it possible that you can go onto the website, emerginglcc.org, for leaders and communities of color, and go to the Nominate tab, or on the new website, Apply. And then on there, there's an online submission form. You just fill it out, the name of the person you're nominating, the address, phone number, email address, and then a brief narrative as to why you're nominating that person, and then your name and your address and so forth, and click Submit. And then it comes to us, and we take a look. And the idea is we'll follow up if we have questions, the person nominating.
Okay.
But also we'll ask, have you already talked to the person you're nominating? In some cases, people don't. They just go,
Okay.
I know this person would be a great fit. But that person has to know that they've
Yeah.
been nominated and also want to be a part of the program.
Yeah.
So learning more about it. There's a brochure you can download on the website. And we'll follow up with that person as well. We do an interview.
Good.
Tell
Good.
them more about the program, answer
Yep.
their questions.
Yeah.
And then we go through a process of reviewing all the applications.
Now, a question that I don't think I've ever asked you before, is there a cost involved?
No, that's the beauty of the nonprofit we have. There's no cost to the participants. I know some of the chamber programs, it could be $1,000 to participate.
Yeah.
And then with LNH, they have a requirement too, a certain cost to participate. With emerging leaders right now, we don't have a cost, haven't had one for the past, we've been around 7 or 8 years now. What we do is we fundraise.
Okay.
We have some really great strategic partners, like Delta Dental here in Concord.
Yes.
AERP, the state offices in Manchester. And then we have people that donate their time to be faculty. The Toastmasters, they have a lot of people that come over and volunteer from January through May. They're amazing folks. So we get a lot of support, and we look for a lot of support, but there's no cost to the participants.
That's great. It does take some time out of their day, but I
You
think
got
that
it.
is,
That's the
well,
cost.
yeah, that's the cost. And that's the cost to their employer if they're employed, and so they need to have that support.
We have that conversation during the interview process. Over
good.
the years, we've discovered people want to do the program, but they don't often, in some cases, count up the cost.
Yeah.
It's a 9-month program.
Yeah.
And you missing an all-day Friday on the 3rd Friday of every month could impact your employment.
Right.
Or your family.
Right.
Some people don't think about their transportation needs.
Yeah,
And
okay.
so we get all, we really have a great interview.
Oh, let's talk about transportation for a second. That just actually made me think of, this is a statewide program,
Yes.
and because it's a statewide program, and because you're enriching the program by moving the meeting places around. I know you meet in Concord, usually that's at Northeast Delta Dental. I know that you usually meet once in Nashua, once or twice in Manchester, and often you'll come back and meet at the Department of Education at some point. And one of the things that I wanted to point that out, because it's not like you're always going to downtown whatever, Concord or whatever. You're moving around, but that's enriching, I think, the experience of the participant.
By design.
Yeah.
So when I went through the program, I was amazed because we met at the Anheuser-Busch in Merrimack in their boardroom. There's absolutely no reason I would be able to get into the boardroom and have somebody significant from the plant come out to talk with my class. I can't think of any reason that would happen. We've been to the Manchester Airport, been to the Charitable Foundation, been to the Endowment for Health, more for just meetings, Delta Dental, AARP. We've been at a lot of places. And in Nashville, we've been at the City Hall and somewhere else. Oh, we've been
Revere.
at a church.
And you've been to
New
Revere.
Fellowship Church, and a Revere College in Nashville. So the idea is to expose the participants who, again, are emerging leaders who may not have done a lot of exploration in the business community or nonprofit community, to get them out where that president, that executive director comes out and welcomes the class. And usually in advance of that day, I'll send all the resumes, or at least a bio of each participant, to facilitate that meeting.
Okay, I didn't realize that.
And in
Okay.
some cases, we've had the directors who come out that were looking to somehow reach into that community.
Yep.
Let's say the Hispanic community in Nashua.
Yeah, okay.
And this person who's been identified as emerging
Yep.
is a key person, a connection point.
Okay.
And now there's this connection that, okay, at the end of the day, they're probably going to talk or follow up by email.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so that's the idea, is to have emerging leaders, which are really going to be future leaders,
Right.
connecting with
Yep.
existing leaders here in the state.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, let's talk a little bit about a typical meeting agenda.
Yeah.
Because I think that you mentioned that it's the third Friday of every month during that 9-month period.
Correct.
So what do you do for a whole day?
The best part is a lot of folks that aren't leaders yet, they're uncomfortable with strangers.
Okay.
So the first thing we do when people come into the hall is, of course, there's continental breakfast and that. Get comfortable. But then we do this thing.
You know
called
how to get
checking
me
in.
there is to feed me, right?
Any chamber event I've been to, food is a key component.
Yeah.
And drink, you know. So we do a check-in process where we kind of clear the space for people.
Okay.
Meaning, what's going on with you between last session and this session? It could be your car's an issue. It could be you got a promotion on your job.
Yeah.
It could be you lost your job.
Yeah.
It could be issues with raising your teenager. You kind of get that off chest.
Yep.
You can share that. You don't have to, but you can share that. And then we go around the room where everybody kind of shares what's been going on.
Yeah.
And you kind of clear that off because you're going to have a full day ahead. So let's talk about that. So the check-in process, kind of brief, go around the room.
Yeah.
And then we do, usually the host will come in at that point and do a welcome. And so we're trying to connect that person with the host and get everybody comfortable. Then, let's see, October through December, typically we'll have a topic. We'll keep it in-house, meaning myself or some board member will talk about something that's important. In October, what is a leader? Then what is a leader of color in New Hampshire? And just have a discussion.
Yeah.
Get those preconceptions out into the open. And then usually that time passes, we'll do some team building exercises. Noontime, we'll break for lunch. We'll have somebody cater it, come on in. After that, we'll have I call it a faculty member, somebody like
Yep.
Susan Gunther, who's a specialist and expert in strategic planning. Come in and cover that.
Thank you for that.
It's true. You can check out our website, our new website. I'll give it at the end of the taping. You can check out Susan. She's on there, brief video component there. You can see how she is in front of our class. We appreciate
That was a
doing that.
blast doing that. That was so much fun.
So after lunch, we have this faculty member come in and do a presentation on some key component, and then we'll break and we'll have a time where they can work on their class project.
Okay. Now let's talk about the class project. What does that involve? How big is it? What kind of project is it?
We don't pick a project
Okay.
for class.
Okay.
The goal, the real purpose of the project is
Okay.
to begin to put into play what you've been learning in the program.
Okay. Okay.
So how to facilitate a meeting.
Okay.
Group and power dynamics.
Okay.
You know, what's on people's minds,
Yeah.
you know. And once you've got that training, the goal is to then, at the end of the day, to begin to implement some of that.
Okay.
To have this like a laboratory.
Okay.
In a college course, you'd have
Yep.
a laboratory, or there's other, I think in business they call it something else, but in science you have a laboratory. You got the theory, but now you go in the lab and see how life really works.
Yeah.
And you try to apply that theory, connect it to the,
Yeah.
experiential.
Actually, we talk about that in Toastmasters as the learning laboratory, and that's
Yeah.
exactly what you're talking about
Correct.
with the LCC programs.
Correct.
Yeah.
So that's by design. Last year, every year we look at the program, we evaluate it, what went well, what didn't go well, what could be improved. And last year we identified the class projects have been hit or miss.
Okay.
And I've had that experience participating in different programs, hit or miss.
Yeah.
So I took my experience
Yeah.
and the other 7 or 8 board members, we looked at our experience, and we said, what could improve this? How about some time? Well, at the beginning, we
Oh, I
talk
see.
about, well, each day, each session, how
Yeah.
about some time at the end of the day,
Yeah.
half an hour, where they get to kind of give updates,
Okay.
flip out who's working on
Yeah.
what. But prior to that,
Yeah.
we talk about the goal of what it's about,
Yeah.
and that's about implementing what they've
Yeah.
learned.
Yeah.
But we give them full freedom. So we've had projects around financial planning.
Okay.
Seminar.
Okay.
We've had a PowerPoint. They built a PowerPoint presentation to help us market ELCC.
Okay.
The class of 2012 put on a dinner. It was a retirement dinner.
Yes.
It was alumni reunion.
Yeah.
And it was a graduation dinner. So we had the graduation day the same night. It was awesome. They
Yes.
raised about $3,000
Yeah.
to do that.
And you've got pictures of that on the website also.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
On Facebook too.
Yes. Oh, maybe that's where I saw it.
Yeah, I have a lot of photos we do on
Yeah.
Facebook. And then the last class this year came up with marketing materials. They did a brochure
Okay.
for us.
Yep.
Really nice, glossy, printed out brochure. Made it look real nice. They also designed a new website. That's a free website, and we were paying, I think, about $150 a year.
Oh, that's
So
pretty
now
significant.
we get a free site that is much more modern, has
Yeah.
a mobile version of our site.
Yeah.
It's really slick.
Yeah.
As well as some other marketing pieces. So they did a really good job.
Great.
Yeah.
That's really important to give people the opportunity, I think, to really put together or put in use what they are learning.
Right.
And also give them that time during the day, because I think, we talked about the significant investment of time by giving up a full day of work once a month.
Right.
And then you're asking them to, in addition to that, come together as a group or figure out how to communicate with each other to put together a project.
Right.
And by giving them at least a little bit of time at the end of the day,
Yeah.
you're kind of kickstarting that, which I think is really cool.
Right. As you're talking,
Yeah?
the similarity. What you're describing is how real life works.
Yeah.
I have a full-time job,
Yep.
my business.
Yep.
I know you have a job, right?
Yep.
And yet we want to, in New Hampshire anyway, we want to give back.
Yes.
We have that compelling need
Yep.
to give back.
Yep.
And so that's what life looks like. You have a full-time job, you have a family, but then you want to do something.
Yeah.
It's going to take personal time.
Yeah.
It's going to take meeting at a board meeting or as a group or as whatever it might look like.
Mm-hmm.
And then working on something with other people
Yes.
to make an impact.
Yeah.
It's hard to make an impact, a large impact, alone.
Absolutely.
So now they get that through the program.
Yeah.
And so hopefully, that's the other thing that I've been toying with is not just training people. I'm not going to go there with sometimes college can be that way. People go in to get a degree, but they're
Yeah.
not really connected to what life's going to look like once they graduate.
Yeah.
Whether it's a job or if they're going to like it or not.
Yeah.
And so I'm a hands-on learner.
Yeah.
So I think a lot of what we do going forward is going to be bringing that hands-on component.
Absolutely.
And practical training that has a practical result.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we don't just raise people and they just disappear.
Well,
Give
and
them really
most of the adult learning styles are seeing and doing.
correct.
We learn best when we see a picture. For me, show me a picture and I'm happy, I get it. That's why I'm good with like charts and graphs as opposed to
you are.
detailed financial reports and things like that. Give me the picture. I can, I can see the big picture and understand the message better. I can learn a skill by doing. You can read a book and you think you understand how to do something, but until you actually have that experience, you don't really know how to do something.
That's been my experience
Yeah.
in life.
Yeah.
So we were trying to make the program that kind of that style.
And it's more fun, too.
I think it's more fun. I think it's more fun.
Yeah. I laugh a lot. Every time I show up at your meetings, I laugh a lot, which is fun.
I told you that we are always evolving the program.
Yes.
And when you did strategic planning, I forget what month you did it this year.
Yeah.
But when you did it, I know I walked away and I talked about it at the board meeting. I said, that's how I want the sessions to be. There's a part where, they're sharing like one way, but then there's a part where, okay, everybody up.
Yeah.
And we're going to do this exercise.
Yeah.
And you're going to have to create what happens next.
That's right.
And you're going to take turns being the leader.
Yeah.
That's what I'm hoping we're going to do more so going forward.
Oh, good.
Not just one way
Yeah.
sort of dumping
Yeah.
of information.
Yeah.
And then an hour and a half goes by, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
But more interaction. Get people up, get people engaged, get them
Yeah.
thinking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And doing. Yeah.
So I appreciate that.
Yeah.
You do that. That's
Oh,
your
thank
style.
you. Thank you. Yeah, it is. Well, because that's my learning style as well as my training style. I think that's true.
Well, the evaluations that the class passed at the end of your session were higher than
Really?
than there. Yeah. I think the 6 or 7 people that we had during the year,
Yeah.
they appreciated that style.
Yeah.
'Cause
Oh, that's good to
yeah,
hear.
I'm in the room typically at the back, kind of managing the whole space. And I'm watching, people drifting after
Yeah,
lunch,
yeah,
nodding.
yeah.
Of course, we usually close the shades
Yeah.
for presentation. And it's all like,
and-
going to bed. So
And,
it's like,
I could let you go on and would love to let you go
Okay.
on and on, but you know what? Our half hour is almost
I can't
up.
believe it. Can we extend it?
No, but I'm going to ask you one more question and sort of change the subject a little bit and ask you, do you have a favorite memory of something that's happened or someone that you've seen grow over the years that you've been involved with the ELCC?
I want to give you 2.
Okay.
The major one was the class at graduation this year.
Okay.
Up together, holding the front of the room down, and each one doing some sort of presentation alone, but the class in back, and seeing them do that.
Yeah.
I was very proud of all of them.
Yeah.
And the quality of the class project, and then knowing that we had something to do with that.
Yeah.
I mean, they had to do the work.
Yes.
And they had to be the ones that transform something.
Yeah.
But empowering them at the front of the year with a plan, I was very proud, and I wasn't alone in the room. We were just speechless. I've never had that experience where I just wanted to shout or scream or just like, and they're all reacting. The audience is like, what's going on? It's like, this is amazing.
Yeah.
So that was the most significant one. The other one was, when I went through the program, I didn't see myself as a leader. And then I remember at the end of the program, a statement came in my head. It's like a voice, like, you know, you're a leader. You are a leader. It's like the words fall. It's like, I have a voice, and when my voice isn't shared, things don't change. So I got it. If I'm in a space where there's something going on and I say something, there's an opportunity to have something happen. Yeah. And for the most part, that wasn't happening prior to ELCC.
Yeah. So it really was transforming.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, that's great. That's great. Well, we just have about a minute or two left, and so I'd like to sort of bring us back full circle to talk about the program you're going to be looking, or are now looking for, candidates for next year's program. We talked a little bit about the application process, and there's a deadline coming up.
August 10th.
August 10th,
Saturday
okay.
is the nomination deadline. If you want to find out more about the program, go to our website.
Okay, and that website is?
www.emerginglcc.org. Or go to our Facebook page, facebook.com/emerginglcc. And you'll find information there on how to nominate somebody. And the brochure we have and the form and all that.
Great. Well, Perry, thank you so much for being my guest today. I really appreciate learning more about the Emerging Leaders in Communities of Color for New Hampshire. This program is a statewide program. Please check it out. And again, I'm Susan Gunther, your host for the Nonprofit Connection. And just so you know, and I have to get my cheat sheet here, we are in the lobby of Centrex Bank at Capitol Commons building, and we're part of Market Days this year. Thank you.